FEMA has approved more than $26 million to support disaster recovery efforts across the state in the aftermath of the winter storm in January. That brings the total federal reimbursement to almost $94 million in the last 4 months. The funds are intended to cover costs associated with 29 projects for things like debris removal, critical infrastructure repair, and restoration of parks and recreational facilities.